So this recipe makes the foundation for a really yummy winter meal that is cozy and creamy and I think delicious, and I call it creamy Dijon chicken with dates. So I have here my go-to super big cast iron skillet, or you can use a really big frying pan, just something that you can fit 8 chicken thighs in, and very important that you can put in the oven because we are going to begin the cooking of this chicken dish in the pan and continue it in the same pan by placing it in the oven. So I've put 4 tablespoons of ghee into my skillet that I have over medium heat. And while I let that ghee melt, I am thinly slicing 1 large shallot, or you can use 2 small shallots. I'm going to add that in and let those start cooking a little bit while I take my chicken thighs. They have the bone in and the skin on, which to me just really enhances the flavor. And I am patting each of those with a generous amount of fine sea salt and black pepper, using about 2 teaspoons of sea salt and half a teaspoon of black pepper total. And I'm just taking my hands here to really push it all in and adding those chicken thighs to the pan. Right here I have 6, and I'm going to add in 2 more once those cook down just a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let those cook over that medium heat for about 2 minutes per side until they get a nice golden brown crust on them. And then I'm going to remove them, which you'll see me do in a minute. But while they're cooking, I'm going to prepare the garlic. And I have 3 cloves here that I am finely chopping. And then I'm just going to set that aside and flip over my chicken. Again, I would say it would take about 2 minutes to get that nice golden brown color on both sides of the chicken thighs. And then I'm going to set those aside on a clean plate. Don't put them back on the plate that you had the raw chicken on, obviously. So I'm setting those aside, and I'm going to leave in the pan the ghee that's left over and the cooking juices and the shallots, and they're getting nice and caramelized for me. I'm adding in those 3 finely chopped cloves of garlic, and I'm also going to add in 3/4 of a cup of a dry white wine. I like to do this to deglaze the pan and just use my spatula to really kind of scrape off any of the brown bits that have stuck to the bottom of the pan. And once that's all mixed in, I'm adding in another cup of chicken bone broth. And use a really good quality bone broth here. I like to cook with bone broth rather than your regular chicken stock because it's just adding even more nutrients to the meal. And then I have placed in there the leaves from 2 sprigs of fresh thyme. I've stirred that in, and I'm stirring in 1 tablespoon of a really grainy Dijon mustard, and then 1 cup of sour cream. There's some really great dairy-free sour creams out there. You can use a regular sour cream, or if you're completely fine with cow's milk, you can use creme fraiche as well. And I am whisking that all together to make sure that it's incorporated. I'm going to bring that back to a simmer, and then I'm going to zest in the zest from 1 super big lemon, which is basically equivalent to 2 regular size lemons. My lemon tree just makes really big lemons. And what that's going to do is really cut the cream in the sauce and create these delicious little curds when it cooks that I can spoon over the top of the chicken. I've added in about 7 dates that I've cut in half lengthwise and pitted them, of course. And then I'm placing my chicken back in that pan. And I'm going to use a spoon to just make sure that some of that sauce covers each one of these chicken thighs while it cooks. And then I'm going to put the whole skillet into the oven, which I have heated at 325 degrees. And I'm going to let those cook for about 45 minutes. You just want to use a thermometer to make sure that they reach an internal temperature of 175 degrees before you take them out. So here they are, all cooked and ready, and I'm going to plate one with a couple of the dates that have cooked and a little bit more of that sauce. You can see the curds that have developed. I'm adding some more fresh thyme on top. I like to serve these with just simple boiled potatoes, which I boil in the bone broth as well. Add a little bit more sauce and some of that creme fraiche or dairy-free sour cream on top. and you've got yourself a meal.